Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick look at how I defeated Hagen the Unclean on Heroic difficulty. I'm using a mage deck specifically created for this fight, which you can find in the description down below, together with a link to our written guide for this boss. As with most of the heroic bosses in the Curse of Naxxramas, the hero power is Hagen's biggest strength. This will deal 3 damage at the start of every turn to the leftmost minion on your board. The spell is on auto cast, and since it costs 0 mana, it means that he can always cast it, and he will even cast it on an empty board. Therefore, if you're trying to play this in a normal way and build a strong board, you will find your efforts undermined severely. The other important aspect of Hagen's strategy are his Void Callers. He starts with 1 Void Caller on the board at the start of the game and has 4 additional ones in his deck. In addition to being quite strong, when these minions die, they put another demon from his hand on the board. This can quickly spiral out of control because even as you're expending resources to take them out, more and more demons, some of them very strong like the Dread Infernal, will flood the board. The early turns of the game are not exactly very consequential, at least not in the case of this particular game. I was actually particularly lucky here to have him start filling his board with extremely weak minions like the 2 Void Walkers and the Blood Imp. The very low damage that these minions do means that I don't really need to concern myself with clearing his board too soon. At 5 mana, I would have had the option of playing Doomsayer and Frost Nova, but I felt that it's kind of a waste to do that against such a basically weak board. It's also worth noting that the Doomsayer will take 3 damage at the start of the turn, and Hagen often plays a Soulfire. So your Doomsayer is not really safe if he is the leftmost target on the board. Instead, I chose to fireball the most threatening minion on the board and keep the remaining weak minions. I took this opportunity with Hagen's board being very weak to play 2 secrets and sort of fortify myself for the late game. However, with the Doomguard hitting the board, it is almost time to clear it out and essentially reset it. It's a good time because Hagen has very few cards in his hand. I played Blood Mage Thalnos here just to have a different minion on the left side of the board than the Doomsayer to sort of soak up Hagen's hero power, and also just for the card draw that it would guarantee. As you can see, exactly what I had warned about, the Soulfire was played, and fortunately the Doomsayer survived because he was not the leftmost minion on my board. The board is wiped, and I have a huge advantage here in terms of cards, so this game is looking quite good at this point.
I hope you like my invention.
Let the pain speak to me.
I'll get right on it.
Since you spend the early turns of the game building up your cards and keeping the board in check, it's unlikely that you'll get to do much damage to Hagen, so Alexstrasza really does come in handy towards the end of the game. At this point, I'm not really happy with the finishing options I have in my hand, so I choose to draw as many cards as I can here. and I do end up drawing Archmage and Tinnitus, which is an excellent finisher.
Hagen, speak to me.
The Dread Infernal here helps me draw even more cards with my Acolyte of Pain, so I really have everything in my hand that I need to finish this game.
You require my assistance.
With this deck, defeating Hagen on Heroic mode is not exactly very difficult, but it will probably take you a few attempts. With other decks, however, as I have attempted, it can be extremely difficult and practically impossible given his hero power. I hope you learned something from this, thank you for watching and good luck!